Hey YouTube, Dawson Ryder here. Welcome to my review for BoonBoomger episode 41. So this was another fillery leaning episode. Not fillery and further, but just fillery. To their credit, they did fold it into the overall main plot, as this soccer game was part of like the Hash Alien scheme and working with these guys and trying to make a deal. And you even have the Rangers talking about like the ones that have had experience with them in space, like, oh yeah, this is one of the things they do. So I did appreciate that. I thought that was a nice way of having basically a very fillery episode, but they actually tied it to the main plot, so it didn't feel like we were just ignoring the big stuff going on. So I guess I did appreciate that, but it still felt like such a weird episode to be happening in these last 10 episodes, which I'll touch on again at the end. But just talking about the episode, it was fine. You know, it's not my cup of tea. These usually stylized episodes where the Rangers play sports, like the baseball one, aren't really my thing personally. Like, I kind of started checking out when we were watching most of the episode. I don't know why I said we. When I was watching the episode, I just kind of felt myself drifting or going and checking Twitter just because, like, I was drifting off. It's not my thing, the antics. I did appreciate that it evolved and, like, it started out as traditional soccer and they're like, oh, it's kind of similar to our soccer, but then like the game evolves and they're doing these more weird things. Like my favorite sequence was when they were like making a goal at a tire shop. I just thought it was fun. There was lots of little fun bits with that. And there was a moment where Taya's like, I'm gonna buy this place, that for whatever reason reminded me of the scene. And I don't remember if it was Batman Begins or The Dark Knight where Bruce Wayne's like, I'm buying this hotel. That was Taya's buying this hotel moment. So I did appreciate that there were some fun bits, but it just wasn't my cup of tea. Like, in general, it wouldn't be, but I just can't help but thinking, like, why are we doing this now when we have less than 10 episodes left? We did get to see Boon 119, which is the first in a while. I honestly almost forgot about it, despite the fact that we've been using the 119 mecha a lot. We've been leaning so hard on the jacket power-ups, I honestly forgot about it, which is crazy, because it's such a cooler power-up. I mean, I really like the jackets, but still. We also had this main lesson, which was basically about like not letting your temper get the best of you, because the Orange Ranger and the Purple Ranger get into a fight and then Taya has them cool down and they're like, you're right, we should calm down and not fight. And it was a very generic lesson. Like, this episode, kind of like last week in terms of the core filler premise and the lesson, feels like it would be more at home in the first half of the series. Like, if they had continued the momentum and pacing of lap 2 into now and we hadn't had such a spectacular lap 3 and, you know, the beginnings of lap 4, I would say this is pretty par for the course. But it feels weird that we're at the slowdown with this very generic lesson and fillery fun episode that just here in the last arc, endgame arc, is just so weird. And also, like, there's been lessons and stuff sprinkled throughout the series, like there often is with Sentai, but I feel like the lesson of the week in this week's episode and last week's are the most on the nose. I don't want to say shoehorned in there, but they feel the most obvious. Like, maybe I'm misremembering it. There's been a lot of episodes. I only watched them once, so I can't remember everything. But for the most part, when I remember that there's a lesson, it's usually tied to a character or story, and it's more organically a part of it, and it's somehow tied to the taking the wheel for yourself metaphor. But these feel like the most generic, like, in-your-face lessons of like this week's and last week's. It's just, I don't know, everything about it, outside of them tying the plot to, you know, the big boss guy, it felt like it would be more at home earlier in the series. It's just so weird, even if there was some fun bits. And I did like to see, there was a scene where at the end when they have the fight, they're like helmetless, but they're wearing the jackets and stuff. And then also, I thought the soccer uniforms looked better on than the baseball ones. Like, there is something I like about that aesthetic. There's something kind of like retro grounded about the aesthetic of BoonBoomger that I like with the jackets, and then seeing them helmetless without it just kind of worked, and it was kind of unique to see. And I did like that aesthetic, and there were some cool beats at the end with the fight scene in the game, and they had like a cool like dual henshin sequence with them. I thought that was really cool. No, I don't have a whole lot else to say. Like, this was alright, but it's one of my lesser favorite episodes. The only positive things I have to say really is, like I said, there were some fun beats with it, and I appreciate that they tied it to the overall plot so it doesn't feel like we're just ignoring the main plot. But it's just so strange to have this in the last arc. Lap 3 was so great at keeping the momentum. I think there was maybe one or two more fillery-like episodes in that. And then at the beginning of arc 4, we started off really strong, but it just seems so strange when we have less than 10 episodes left to be at this weird halt again. It's kind of disappointing. But anyways, guys, until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell to get notifications for all my videos. Dawson Ryder, signing out.